Today we're going to talk about Facebook. Facebook is a wonderful, complicated world. I'm sure most of you know. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about Facebook for business, best practice, creating a content calendar, scheduling your post, Facebook ads, content that works, and then we'll have a little Q&A at the end. Some of you already know, but who am I? I'm Charlotte. I am a graphic designer by trade, but I'm also a content creator. I create content for myself. I create content for clients. So sometimes I'll do some videos for them. I do copywriting. I design the post, which is why it's useful that I also have a background in video production and photography. So I am a creative with many hats. I kind of do a little bit of everything. We'll talk a little bit about Facebook and what are the stats essentially, the sexy stats that they have. And one of them is that they hit 3 billion active users in 2023, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. 50% of the time that people spend on Facebook is spent watching videos, which is quite surprising when you think about it, because it's not really a video platform. But if you, for example, were to do your own videos, I'd recommend doing vertical videos with audio, because they tend to perform 35% better. So that means it will be the long video that kind of covers more of your screen. Because the more it covers, the more you see, the more attention you'll have from them. And 50 million people use the story feature every single day. So that's the feature you have up here that you click. It's a little video, or it could be an image of what your friends are doing, or a business might be doing a little update. And then Reels, just because I want to talk a little bit about video, because it is very handy to know about this, because I think it's quite unexpected. Reels on Facebook, which is a bit newer, gets 20 billion views across Facebook apps every single day. So it is used a lot. So keep that in mind and I will cover these things later on, so don't worry, but I just wanted to give you a couple of the facts and the stats to show you that it does work, and it works very well. And 62% of adults buy products directly through Facebook. So that does tend to be a little bit of an older generation. When I say older, I'm not talking about Gen Z, the really young generation. They tend to buy more through Instagram and TikTok. But there is still a lot of people that buy directly through Facebook. So yeah, so it is a fantastic platform to be on. There's lots of support. There's lots of resources out there to help you to use it very productively and efficiently. So why should you use it? Well, it increases your brand awareness. By consistently posting engaging content, you can organically reach a wider audience. Facebook ad allows you to target very specific demographics and interests, so it ensures that your messages reaches the right people, and that's very important. That's all we want. So you can have a lot of visual content, of course you can on all the platforms, but eye-catching images and videos can really help your brand stand out and be remembered, and that's what we want. And it's a fantastic way to establish a strong brand presence. So when people see your images or your logo or your name, they know, I know who that is immediately. And it's a fantastic way to engage with your community. Generating leads. Facebook is the strongest platform to generate leads. A lot of the others, it's just an advertising here and there, and there's maybe a button, but Facebook uses their analytics so much to target very, very specific audiences, and there are so many different things that you can toggle and adjust to reach exactly who you want to reach. So yeah, it's specifically designed to collect contact information from interested users that you can then later on use to reach out to them. And that's where you want to include a clear call to action button, like sign up now or learn more, depending on what you're selling, to encourage your users to take the next step. And you can also create optimized landing pages as well. So that's just like a one-pager. You click sign up and you'll have you're still on Facebook. You've never left the platform, but you're kind of on their little mini Facebook landing page, and it might have a little sign up form, so you get all the newsletters down the line or whatever it might be. So that's really useful, and all these things are free until you pay for the advertising. And driving sales. So if you sell a product, you can integrate Facebook with that website. So for example, I used to have a Wix website and I could integrate that. I had to install a little plugin onto it, but that took no time at all. And then all of the products I had, excuse me, loaded onto my Facebook profile for the business. And then all I had to do after that, well, I didn't have to do anything really, but I could tag the products in any of the posts that I uploaded. I could use them for ads. And it's just a lot easier to encourage people to purchase from you as well, because it's right there and it means people can buy through Facebook and they don't have to leave the app. So we always say in like web development, the less buttons you have to press, the better, because it's a shorter journey. And so using these sort of, retargeting ads and e-commerce integration and having your products like uploaded to your Facebook is fantastic, because you can target your audience who have maybe visited your website or interacted with you before, and to encourage them to make a purchase. Or you can create a sense of urgency, like limited offer, it's only on Facebook, you can only get it here, with exclusive like deals and stuff, that will really help generate more sales, or sign up forms or whatever it might be. It could be an event as well. Sign up now, you get 50% off your ticket, sort of things. All these things are very useful. Scarcity, we like that. So essentially, analyze performance is also what Facebook's really good for. So I mentioned that a little bit. Engage with your audience, and it's fantastic to stay up to date. So that's what Facebook Business is really good to do, really good for. I'm just going to go through a couple of really basic things. So just understanding your Facebook profile, for example. So this is just what your profile will look like. I'm sure most of us have seen this before, right? They've just used the Imagination Refinery Facebook profile as an example. That's what it would look like when you get onto it. But when you have your own, so obviously you'll have logo, name, a little bit of a description, those sort of things. But when you have your own Facebook Business, this is like what the home newsfeed will look like. It's all very similar to a personal profile, so you won't feel too unfamiliar to you. But you'll have lots of different options that you can explore of all sorts of things: how to upload your social content, how to advertise for it. Do you want to boost a post? Do you want to message people? So you're messaging. So you can message people just the same way, but you can also set up automatic messages. So let's say you only work certain hours, so you don't want to reply at 10 o'clock at night. Probably I wouldn't. You might say, thank you so much for your message. We will respond during working hours of blah, 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 and these days, or we will get back to you within 2 to 3 business days. That's what I have on mine, so that people don't expect me to respond right away, because I'm terrible at responding to messages right away. The insights is really where you get a lot of your knowledge. So this is just an example of a post that I posted earlier this year. I can see it had a reach of 690 people, 795 impressions. I can see what kind of emoticons they used, and there's lots more. This is just the first bit of it that you see immediately, but you can keep scrolling down. You can look more specifically at like, where are they located, what countries are they, and what ages are they. That sort of insight is really valuable for you to know, because if you then find out, oh, I've only got women that follow my page, that's really useful to know, because you can target your posts and your ads to, for example, with your language, you might write something like, hey ladies, we're doing this today, da da da, that sort of stuff. Or if you want to keep it general, obviously you can do that as well. And let's say, so I've just clicked on create an ad really quickly on my Facebook. Immediately, it's just suggested an image, it's suggested a target audience. I always would say go and have a look at them and adjust them to what you think works the best. But it's a great way to just explore what you think might work. And because this is a post as well, this was just like boosting it. So maybe you have a post that's performing really well already, and you want to have it a longer lifespan. You just click boost the post, and then you can target it very specifically to who you want to see them. You might want to put on events as well, events like today, and you want to target that very specifically, because like an event like today is specifically for local people, right? So if you want to advertise that, you can do that. So these are events that Imagination Refinery has had before, and those are ones that they could advertise. Oh, is it? I thought maybe that would happen. So yeah, so then you could advertise that event and target particular people in Gosport, particular ages with particular interests, and you'll get a much better engagement than if you just sort of popped it on there, didn't do anything, didn't touch it. No one's going to see it, right? And that's kind of sad. And a very vaguely mentioned shop. This is an ad that someone has used with their shop. It's for wallpapers, so lovely little illustrations. I will show you some more examples of this one in a little bit, but you can just click on it and then it's there and then people can shop it. And reviews are definitely not to be understated. Because if you go onto a page and you see it's got 5 reviews, they're all wonderful. Maybe there's a 4-star one and a few 5-star ones, but you can read what people's experiences are with your business. And that's trustworthy. That's a lot more than what you say is happening and what you think is to be true. Because you can say all sorts of stuff. That doesn't mean anyone's going to believe you, but they believe other people. So if you can have reviews, and you can use this for content afterwards as well, because they have essentially given you approval. This is what I think of you publicly, so you can use that, put it in a little post and say, oh, Heather was so lovely, she gave us a lovely review, and this is how she felt about coming to visit us. So it gives a lot of credibility, and it also shows that you're not a fake page. Now I don't know if any of you have come across fake Facebook pages, but they are out there. So yeah, anything that you can do to add credibility to yourself, make yourself seem more trustworthy, and I'm a real person running a real business, is very, very valuable. Right, so we're going to talk about some best practices. They might seem really simple, but these are some key things that you always need to have a successful page. So for example, this is the face of your business. Includes your name, your logo, information, a brief description, might have some contact details, etc. So you want to have a profile picture that is really clear. It should include a simple logo, your business name. It could have a recognizable image. So for example, if you were to sell plushies and you've got one plushie that everyone has seen and they know it very well. I think there's one in Portsmouth, she sells plushies, and it's like a little cat, and a lot of people know that plushie. So if she just used that as her profile picture, that would still be really recognizable. So there are some cases where you can just use an image. But I would say stick to a logo if you can, and make sure it's really clear and visible. And then ensure that it's concise with like your website, your other social profiles, and your marketing materials, because that way customers will recognize you. If they go onto Instagram and Facebook and they see it's the same logo, they go, I know this is the same business. If it's different, they might be a little bit unsure, not sure if it's the same business. So it's very important to have that across all platforms. We want a lovely bio as well, so you want to keep it brief, to the point, clearly state what your business does and what makes you unique, what makes you stand out from other businesses. Encourage them to take action, like visiting your website, if you have one. It should give all the information that they need in very few words. So, and you also want to use relevant keywords, because that's going to help you show up in search. So if someone's looking for ceramics in Gosport, they'll search for that in the Facebook header, and you have that in your bio, or you might have that in some of your other details like your location and that sort of thing. You're going to show up. But if you don't have those keywords in there of what you do, you're not going to show up. So that's very important. Cover photos as well. Now the cover photo should be relevant to you. High quality and professional looking, ideally something that shows maybe what you do. An offering that you have might be like if you've got a sale on, those sort of things. So make sure it captures the essence of your business and aligned with your brand aesthetic. You might have a very particular illustration style or very particular font that's very recognizable for your brand. And you could use it as a call for action as well. So like promotional message, or could be happy holidays or anything like that, anything that you'd like, but just make it feel like you. It also helps with engagement because it encourages people to engage with you by seeing that you are real, you are trustworthy, and it helps with discoverability. That's a hard word to say. A strong profile can really increase your visibility online. Like I said before, if you use the right keywords, it will show up in the search bar as well. So I've got an example. So this is a small business. They're called Sick House Decor. They're not a local small business, but they're a small business. And they do house decor. Kind of says itself, doesn't it? When you say sick house decor, it sort of implies, that's really sick house decor. So immediately you can see on the top they've got a marketing message on their cover photo. It looks really nice and clean. It's not too big, too flashy. It's not too much going on. In their profile picture, they've got their logo, their name, so you know who it is, what they do. And their intro is really, really good because it says, spaces reflecting you, the creative homeware brand. So you know what it is. You know that's a little bit unique. Unique homeware to make your house feel like a home. And then it goes over to, 20% off your first purchase by joining our newsletter. So you're trying to get them to action something, to do something, right? And they will, because they'll get 20% off. But they also offer free shipping on all orders over £50. So now I know what they sell. I know that they're unique, or what makes them unique. I know that I can get a discount. Yes, I want a discount. And free shipping. Absolutely, I want that. So these are all actions that are going to make people want to interact with you, shop, sign up for the newsletter, all that sort of stuff. And then obviously you can message them, but not everyone likes to send a message on Facebook. So they also have their email address down here, which is wonderful. So it gives people more options. Maybe they don't use Facebook very often, but they check their emails. So these little things make a big difference. So posting content. You need to keep track of what you're posting, right? You need to know what you're posting. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So you want to stay organised with what you're posting and how often you're posting and what it is. You want to make sure that you're consistent. You want to make sure that you are staying on top of time management. You're not wasting too much time posting. And it does feel like a lot if you're posting manually each time and you're sat there thinking, oh God, what am I going to say this time? I need to post again on Wednesday and I need to post on Friday. If you're just doing that sort of as you go, it can feel like a lot and can feel quite stressful. And then also campaign planning is really important. So because if you might have a campaign going, you might want to post about that, or vice versa. You started posting about something, it's kind of turned into a bit of a campaign. You can then use it as an ad campaign on Facebook. And collaboration as well. So you might not be the only one who's working on your post. You might have help with someone. You might have a husband or a wife or daughter or a son who's helping out with these sort of things, writing the content. And you want to know, well, you might have started something. You might have started something and then think, oh, I don't actually know what this is anymore because someone else has changed it. And oh, actually, what did they mean by this? Someone else has started a post. So I'm going to show you in a little bit how you can control that. So consistent posting helps you maintain a steady presence on Facebook and encourage engagements from your audience. If you show up, they'll show up for you as well. Really helps you with the algorithm. We talked a little bit about the algorithm last time. But the algorithm favors pages that post regularly, so it increases your visibility. So if you only post once a week, once a month, Facebook's not really going to want to push your content out. It's going to take someone else's page that's posting more often and go, well, they're actually spending time on here, so we're going to show that. So by showing up, the algorithm will show up for you as well. And then there's audience expectations. That sounds a bit weird. Like, why would they have an expectation of you? Well, consistent posting helps build that trust and expectation amongst your followers. So you are meeting your audience expectation with, well, they might expect an update from you for like holiday opening times, a product or a service update, If they want information, they're probably going to go onto your socials first before they go onto your website. Whenever I think, especially around the holidays, I think, oh, really want to see what IKEA's come out for the holidays. I want to see what products they've got. I'm going to go to their socials first and see what they posted about it. Maybe go on their TikTok, Instagram, because I want to see the pictures. I'll probably go on all of them to make sure I've covered all my bases. A lot of these big brands, like Lush, for example, you know, the bath bombs and that, they have very themed products for the different holidays. I want to see what that is. Or if something really bad has happened, hopefully there won't be any of you guys, but if something bad has happened to a brand, where are you going to go to find that information? You're going to see if they posted about it. Maybe they'll go, oh, we're really sorry, we collaborated with this other person. So you're going to go onto their socials first. And data analysis. So the more you post, the more data there is to analyze your post and refine your content strategy. So you might have an idea for a post series that you post maybe once a week. It could be like a Friday update with a team member or yourself or something like that. And by checking the data, you can see if it's worth keep spending time on it. If no one's interacting with it, well, it's not really any point posting about it, is it? Because it's just going into the ether of nothing. So if it's not performing, then you can save time on those posts and come up with new ideas that might work really well for you. So that's why the data is very useful. I failed maths when I went to school and I love data because it gives you such a story of what's working, what's not. It can be really complicated, but if you just sort of, as someone who is basically number dyslexic, I can still understand what's happening here, you know? So having that data is really, really valuable for you. So I did talk a little bit about managing your content or having a content calendar, but who knows what that is or how to do that? Any experience with that? No, that might sound a bit unfamiliar. That's absolutely fine, because I've got plenty of examples. I will show you mine in a little bit. So, content calendar. How do you make one? Well, before you start actually putting it together, you need to think about a couple things, like defining your goals. So you need to determine what your goals are and what you want to achieve. So, for example, do you want to increase your brand awareness? Do you want to drive traffic to your website? Do you want to generate leads? Do you want to just be there for fun? It could be all sorts of things. And once you've got the goals, you want to identify your audience. So understand your target audience interests, their preferences, and their behavior. That's going to really determine what kind of posts you should be posting. And now you want to plan your content. So you've thought about your goals, you've identified your audience, now you want to come up with the ideas. Brainstorming content ideas to align with your goals and resonate with your audiences is so much fun to do. So much fun. You can create a huge mind map and just throw all the ideas. They're never a bad idea. Throw all the ideas out. Then you can refine them and go, well, maybe that won't work after all. Steve down the road might be offended, but we'll do the other things, right? Okay, we'll go with those ideas. And then you can refine them, put them into different buckets or different categories. We call them social buckets. So you can do educational ones, inspirational posts, ones that are a bit more personal because you want to identify or have them identify with you, promotional posts or entertainment. These are just some examples, and I will show you an example of that. And then you want to schedule your posts. So you can do that with different scheduling tools. You can use Facebook, which is free. It's very handy, and I will show you how to do that on mobile and on desktop because it's wonderful. But there are tons of other tools as well that you can use. For example, there's Hootsuite. Anyone heard of Hootsuite? Yeah, it's really good. It's really good if you have multiple platforms that you want to keep track of, but you have to pay for it, which is a bit annoying. But say you post on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Facebook. It's a lot to schedule. So if you can just do that all in one place, and then after like a couple months, you can collect all that data for all the different platforms and see how well they're performing, which is very handy, instead of going to all the individual platforms. But that's just a suggestion, absolutely not needed, especially if you're just on Facebook or maybe just on Instagram, then it's not needed. I'm not here to make you spend more money than you need to. So So they give you lots of more in-depth data, but Facebook is really good with that, to be honest. Much better than any of the other platforms. Facebook has so much to show you what's working and what isn't. So, so I'm going to give you an example of a content calendar. So this is just a really simple one that I have. So when you're planning, it's a good idea to map it out. So literally have a calendar out, see where you're posting, see that you are posting consistent. And there's lots of different tools you can use to make one. I've used this in a platform called Miro, which is a brain mapping website. M-I-R-O. Which is really useful because you can literally use it for brain mapping and like put all your ideas out, and then you can kind of refine it. Imagine you've got an endless whiteboard. You could just draw and map all over it and make little plans and all sorts. They get really messy when I do it because my brain is just all over the place. But it's really useful to then kind of look over it later on and go, well, actually, that was a really good idea. Oh, I'm going to use that for next time. Or you can use Google Pages to create a calendar like this. And then it's really useful as well if you just want to pop a reminder in for yourself and say like, oh, remember at the end of the month there's an event that I'm going to. I need to post about that, so I need to remember to take photos. Because you might forget if you're not writing these things down, right? But also, this is where other people can see what you've got planned. So maybe I had my sister help me with my socials for a little bit. It was mostly me just telling her what to do, but sometimes she'd come up with an idea, she'd start writing it, and I go, what's this? What are you talking about? Oh, it was that other thing we were talking about. Right, okay, yeah. But now that we have it all in one place, I know exactly what's happening. I know, I can see where the train of thought has gone, and you might have a separate page where you write out the copy for the post as well. And you might be wondering why they are different colours. So these are like post-it notes. That's because they're different categories. So I've got many more colours that I use, but these are just a couple. So green is educational posts. Yellow is funny post, hopefully funny, I don't know. But that's the goal anyways. And then orange is advertising my services. So it's just that way, when I have it in a calendar like this, I can see, say if I had only green in the first week, that's not going to be really good for variation, is it? I want to have a bit more variation, so I might have a green there, a yellow there, a blue there, who knows what that category is, and mix it up so you can see very visually, very quickly what you are doing. It's a lifesaver, especially if you have a million ideas in your head like me all the time and I can't keep track of my thoughts. It's very, very useful. And then, then I have a page underneath where I write Facebook copy, Instagram copy, whatever, platform copy, and I have the image next to it so I know exactly what's going with what. And then that also means if for some reason I am not available, someone else can post it for me because they know exactly what to do, what platform is going to go on. You might even write, it's going on Facebook 10 a.m, next one's going on Instagram 1 o'clock, that sort of stuff. So it's very, very useful. And that's how you save time as well, because you could do this a month in advance and you have everything sorted. It might just take you a few hours, to be honest, and then you've done all your content for that month. Scheduling a post. So I'm going to use a phone, how to do it on the phone to start with. So you want to go to your Facebook business page. This is just the news feed. That's all you need to go to. Click the plus button, or if you're on desktop, write new posts. And then you want to create your post, including an image or a video. You might also want to go live. Has anyone gone live on Facebook before? Yeah, that is a very scary feature, isn't it? Yeah. But that can be a good feature to use because if you've got like maybe you want to launch a new product line or something like that, you can literally have them there with you. You can talk about them and go, this is this, and I made this, and I'm really excited about this. And then people can ask you questions, and you can answer them directly straight there as you are there. But it is very scary, and you kind of feel like you sit in a room with silence just talking to yourself. It's very bizarre. I've done it a few times, and it takes some getting used to. So let's say I went to the Friends experience a few weeks ago. I might want to talk about that to my audience, you know, to kind of have a bit of a personal story to talk about it. So that's what I've used as my example. I went to go see Friends. I'm a big fan of Friends. Anyone else love Friends here? Yeah. So let's say I've written some posts here, some text here saying how it's really valuable to take time off, and now I'm really ready to come and create more products for you guys. I'm so excited to share it and that sort of stuff. So you're still relating it back to your business, but you're still talking about yourself. And then when the post is ready, you get all these options. So there's quite a lot of options here, so who can see it. Ideally, you always want to have it on public. This is where you can schedule the post, but you can also monetize it, so you can earn some money on it. That does take a lot though, you need a lot of followers for that to happen. You can boost the post straight away as well, instead of doing it later down the line. So that's essentially creating your post into an ad. It still looks like a post, but it's being pushed more out to people, but that costs money. And you can do an A/B test. Anyone know what an A/B test is? I will get back to that one, but that is essentially using that post as a testing post to see how it performs next to other posts. So does this type of post perform better than others or not? So we're about to post, but we don't want to post it just yet because it's 10 o'clock at night. You just had this idea, you don't want to post it just yet. So you might say want to post at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So you click the scheduling options and then you can choose when you want it. So not today at 6 o'clock because that has gone, but maybe, well, it's on Friday anyway, so maybe we do want to post it on Friday at 6 o'clock. And then you just click on the arrow to go back, and then the button should change from post now to schedule. And that's all you need to do. But you might want to do it on desktop, yeah? I actually prefer posting on desktop than directly on the phone. So I wanted to show you both options. So this is your home feed. This should be the first page you see when you go onto your business Facebook page. And you've got the Meta Business Suite here. There's a lot in here that you can use. I'm going to try and keep it really simple though, but there's so many things that you can do. So once I've clicked the Business Suite, you'll have these different options here, and this is the little, we want this little calendar, and it gives you what you can do the week, you could do a month if you want to. So that's kind of the content calendar I was talking about before, right? You can do that directly into Facebook. And it gives you lots of different suggestions as well. So I haven't actually posted anything in a while, so it looks quite bare. But actually that's better for you guys because then you can see what it's suggesting. So it's saying that this week your Facebook followers are most active at this time, so it's 6 o'clock on Friday. This week your Instagram followers are more active at this time, 6 o'clock on Saturday. You can set a goal, so it will help you track these goals. Yeah, and you can schedule them in here, and you can say, do you want it to be an Instagram story? Do you want an Instagram post? Do you want it to be a Facebook story? Do you want it to be all above? You can do that very, very easily. Doing this for multiple posts and stories, you can do that, no problem. You can schedule your ads for a campaign as well, and then you can boost posts that are performing well. I'm actually going to go back one, because when you're in here to schedule a post, you can also just go create ad, because they work very similarly, the posts and the ads. So just wanted to mention that, just if you wanted to go down that direction as well. So you want to consider what you want to post. Do you want it to be an image, a video, a carousel? Any of these words sound familiar? So I'm going to go through the different types of ads. So this is an image ad. It's a very simple ad featuring a simple image and text. This is normally the most cost-effective ad to run. It's very suitable for a wide range of products and services. It's kind of the universal, one-size-fits-all kind of ad. But the other ads have really good features as well. It just depends on what your goals are. So remember we were talking earlier about setting your goals and your target audiences. So it all comes in. So we've got video ads. There's a video and some text. It's quite simple, really. These might show up if you are looking at the reels on Facebook. So you're scrolling through the videos and all of a sudden there's an ad coming up. These won't necessarily come up just on your news feed automatically. So it depends on, do you know if your target audience looks at reels a lot? That might be where you want to put that ad. carousel ads. These are actually my favourite because I really like scrolling through them. So that's basically what it is, a combination of images and text. So you can see there's an image there and an image there, and you scroll through them. And it can show you different products or services. You know, say you're you could be a personal trainer, and so I help you with flexibility, and I help you lose weight, and I help you track your goals. And so you're saying all the different things in quite a simple way, and you're just swiping through it. It's quite fun to swipe through them as well. So this is a really good option for businesses with maybe limited video resources. You might only have photos. You might not really have videos. So then that's really useful, and it looks really nice. Then we have story ads. So these will be the ones that show up in Facebook stories, but these again can be posted across to Instagram quite easily. So once you're scheduling your ads, it will ask you if you want to post it on Instagram as well. I would normally say yes. If your audience is on the platform. So this can reach a wider audience and engage users in a more interactive way, because once you have the ad there and you're scrolling through your stories, it just has a swipe up option. You're not really ever leaving Facebook either, you're just swiping up. You might land on their Facebook landing page, and it's just really easy, and you scroll through their products or services. Collection ads, we saw this one earlier, didn't we, with the different products. So that's an ad that showcases a collection of products or services with a prominent call to action. So call to actions here, shop now, that's one product, there's more here, and once you click on it, so I'm going to show you, I've done it, this is what happens when you click on them, and you can keep scrolling, seeing more products. I'm sure a lot of you have seen these. And then I really like this wallpaper, that's the one I want, and that's when it takes me to their website. So at this point, you've gone through a lot of steps actually to help you determine what your needs are, what you want. Do you like this? Do you not like this? Without having really left the platform. And all those moves that you make or the consumer makes is data that's collected. So Facebook's going to know this one is actually the more popular one. So the next time that ad is featured, it might show that product over all the other ones. So if you want to create an ad, remember when we were on the menu here, so this is where you had the content calendar. Now you might want to click on the megaphone, because that's where you create an ad. So this looks a little bit different. I'm going to try and keep this simple because there's a lot of options here. I will emphasize that, but you don't have to make it complicated at all. You can keep it quite simple. So we want to create an ad. So I've clicked create ad up there. This is just showing what ads you might have run. I haven't run any ads. So we want to choose our goal. We want to get more website visitors. So we click that. And then once I've clicked that, it has now selected a media immediately. It might not be what I want, but I might even go, actually that works quite nicely. And this is kind of like the pre-text that I've already popped in from before. So whatever you pop in here, you'll have a nice preview here. So you know, or every step you take, you know what that might look like, or it's going to look like once it's live, which is really good because it can be quite nerve-wracking spending money on ads. But you do want to keep the text quite short and sweet, and because it will differ per different ads as well. So just try and keep it like quite concise. But yeah, so if you wanted to change the image, for example, you just go select media, and then if I were to scroll down a little bit, this is where you have your audiences. So right now it's automatically set to United Kingdom, minimum age 18, advanced audience on, but I don't really know what that is until I click the little toggle button over there. But I might want to see people who like your page and people similar to them. That's what you were looking for. So that is what you want. So you can click on that and see what that tells you, and you can adjust that. And then you can schedule when you want this to go, how many days you want it to last, what day you want it to go live. Run this ad continuously. If you've got lots of money going on, then maybe you could do that. And don't ask me why my Facebook is set to krona. It just is. I am half Norwegian, so my bank account used to be in kroner, and it just never changed. But that's about £4 a day. So that will roughly get me to 1.3 thousand up to 3.7 thousand estimated account reach per day. So it's not like a bunch of money, but it's also not a lot of people. So you'll roughly get 59 to 171 link clicks. It's not a lot, but that might be all you need, to be honest. But let's adjust it, see what happens. So this is about £20, 200 NOK, as we say. And now it's estimated 3.7 thousand to 10.6 thousand, or 117 clicks to 338. So it's gone up quite significantly, but the money hasn't actually increased that much. Although £20 a day can be quite costly. But I just wanted to show you the difference that it can make. And this is just, you can play around with it and see what works for you. Once you are ready to go live, you might not want to publish straight away, like we talked about. You might want to schedule it. So you want to click that little arrow there, and it will give you a little scheduling feature, which is not one of the most obvious things, but here we are. That's what this is going to look like. You say when you wanted to go live, click schedule. It'll take you back to here, and it might still say publish. You're not publishing, you are scheduling. These sort of buttons sometimes differ from different profiles, it depends, but mine always just said publish, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to publish yet. Now I want to show you a couple of ad examples, what they might look like. So I talked about what they are, and I had a couple of screen examples, but I want to show you like this one. This is a GIF, not a video, okay? So I know last time I messed up my videos. This is what collection ads can look like. It's a bit pixelated, I apologise for that. But like this one's really lovely because it's got videos and photos of the products. It's got a bit of text to it. This is on Instagram, but you might have scheduled that through Facebook. And it would look similar to this. This is not the same brand, but it's the same kind of ad. So you've got a little bit of a video there. It's not very complicated either. And then you've got the products underneath. So that's an example of what the collection ads could look like. So it's really nice as well because you're mixed up different elements of different, with photos and videos, and it just keeps the interest a little bit. This is what a carousel ad could look like. Again, it's a bit pixelated, but this is Gymshark. So imagine you can only see this one. Once you've scrolled, you can see it's like one continuous image, and that keeps the interest for the consumer because it's quite interesting to have it one seamless image. So that's a really good idea of how to do it. You could do that with ceramics and that, and have one long image, and then you can show, so they're all in one image, but you might have couple of in center featured forward and be like, well, here's a cup and here's a bowl and here's a fruit bowl and those sort of things, and that's what you're talking about on the different slides. And then we've got a shop now, so we've got a call to action. I don't really know what masculine is, but I'm sure if I read the ad properly I would know. Or you don't have to have them seamlessly. This is Vessi, a shoes company, and they've done it quite nicely where they've just had like different graphics on the different slides, so so you know kind of what's happening, what this is about. So these shoes are really good for pumpkin patches. These shoes are really good for bike rides or dog walks. So I've just used really simple graphics to illustrate what those ads are for. So choosing the right ad format. So what do you need to consider? The best ad format for your small business will depend on your goal, your budget, and your target audience, like we talked about already. So you need to consider your product, so what type of content best represents your offering, your audience, what type of content will resonate with your target audience, your budget. Some of your ads might be more costly than others, and what do you want to achieve with your ads? So do you want to increase your brand awareness? Do you want to drive more sales? There's some different targets as well to consider. For example, I vaguely talked about location targeting. Now, you guys are all very local. That's very useful to have local targeting, because you don't want to talk to someone up in Essex. It doesn't really matter to you. Or it might. You might want to send it. But if you want to have it very local, or maybe if you're doing like events and stuff like that. So this is used a lot for elections, council as well uses this a lot, and events. So knowing with your custom audience as well really helps determine how to direct your ad. Knowing their interest and their behaviour. So I've used this example. Let's say we're selling hats. You need to for your target audience, you need to know what their interest is, and you add that to the list of their interests and say they are interested in hats. So we add that to the interest base in the targeted ad. But you also know that hat shoppers, their behaviour is that they look on their stories a lot. Somehow you figured that out. You might have done some sort of research and found out actually they're on their stories a lot. So you know that actually targeting them on your story, on using story ads, is really useful. So already having those two valuable insights have really determined how you do your ads, right? You might have just done it as a post otherwise, but they might not really check their feed very often. You need to think about demographic targeting, so their ages, their gender, education, relationship, and household. When I say household, I mean based on the household size and income. It doesn't sound like it's relevant, but it is. And I'll give you an example on that. So you might need to know this information because you have a limited edition product that you want to sell for Pride Month. So it's very time specific, very specific target audience. You want to target a household with an LGBTQ couple, maybe no kids, disposable income, instead of a straight couple with a big family and a tight budget. Imagine those two target audiences are wildly different, and it's going to make such a difference that you know your audience that way because you know how to target them. So you can imagine the outcome of those two audiences will be really, really different of how your ad will act. You want to target efficiently. We've already discussed a lot of these things, so you want to research your audience. You want detailed target criteria. You want to test and refine. So now that you understand how to combine these things, you also know that you can test out your different ads. So for example, you've got an ad going out, but you can adjust it once it's live as well. So you don't have to publish it and go, well, that's it, I can't touch it anymore. But you can. So it's been running for a week, and you go, oh, it's not really performing how I want it to, so I'm going to adjust it a little bit. I will say if you do, leave it for another week at minimum to see how it performs, because it needs a bit of time to collect data to see if it is performing how you want it to do. And that is the thing that we call A/B testing, which I'll mention again in a little bit. I'm going to give you some examples on how to create a compelling ad. So this is dog food. So this ad is really nice and easy because the text is really nice and easy to read. Got 5 stars from Jodie. My dog loves this stuff. Then further down you see here the only dog food like it. This wording confuses me a little bit because I keep wanting to read it a little bit differently, but you know what it means. And this is the scarcity we talked about a little bit earlier with a limited time offer plus free shipping, and that makes me go, oh, I want free shipping. Shop now. And a little tip for ads. This is exactly how people read it. So they read this, they look at the ad, they go down, down, and over here, then they go to the top to read the text up here. A lot of times people don't read that at all. So you still want it there, but that's not the most important bit. It's the design, the call to action, shop now. So we want to use high quality images, so clear resolution, not like the pixelated image I have here. But when it is live on it, you want clear resolution. You want it to be relevant as well, so choose images that is directly related to your product or your service, so it's not confusing. Use images that catches the eye, so it's visually appealing. And don't edit it too much. Too much editing, too much text, too much of everything is just not going to really relate to anyone, and it's not going to make people look at it. So you want to keep it nice and simple. This is really nice and simple. It's my dog loves this stuff, so you know, all right, well, this is for my dog. There's the dog food. There's the brand. Call to action. Yeah, so you want to keep it simple, clear message, easy to read, minimalistic design. So you want to avoid overcrowding your ad with too much text. Clear and simple. I don't know how many times I'm going to say clear and simple, but enough that it's clear and simple. An uncluttered design can be a lot more effective than a busy one. I'm kind of drilling this in for you guys, but strong call to action. We call it CTA. You want to keep it very clear and concise, and you want to think about the placement as well. If it's just tiny in the little corner, no one's really going to see it. Normally you have it at the end, the bottom, so if you had it in the ad itself, but in the actual Facebook ads you would have them here. And you might even have it in the text above there as well for the ones who do read it, like visit our website, come here, those sort of things. So now we've got the A/B testing that I mentioned, which is a little bit daunting stuff. It stands for, so A stands for control, B stands for variation. It's very high-techy stuff, people that do like programming and stuff. It relates to that as well, because they do A/B testing a lot. They need to make sure that it's working the way that they want it to. It just stands for doing a test. So you want to test the different variations of your ad to see which element performs best. So you might do an ad and have the same target audience, but you want to adjust the age a little bit. So you're not doing loads and loads of adjustments. And then you can see which one's performing better. Or actually I found my target audience is actually a bit younger than I thought, or a bit older than I thought. So that data will help you inform your decision and optimize your ad campaigns going forward. So every time you test, and it has a whole section on it on Facebook as well. So always let the adjustments to the ads stay up for a week minimum to make sure it's working. You can have it for a little bit longer, but money might be tight, so you might not want to. Well, don't do it at all. But it's just really useful if you can do testing and see what works for you. And we talked about this a little bit, but you need to think about where do you want to place your ads. So do you want to consider having it on your newsfeed? Do you want to have them on your stories? There's a right column section that have ads in it as well. You might think that your audience is often reading the news, so they'll be on the newsfeed. Or like we said earlier about like the hat example, we know that that audience uses their stories a lot. So you want to choose the placement that is most likely to reach your audience. Now the guidelines, you need to make sure that you avoid restrictions. It's always useful to just have a quick read about it, so learn about the language that you're allowed to use and what you can't use, because I can be really, really strict on that. If you get too many strikes, you get limited, your business gets limited and your profile, and you won't be able to create any ads permanently. You can't undo that. Sometimes you can email them and stuff, but have you ever tried to email Facebook? That's a nightmare. I've tried it. It's really hard to get through to them. So make sure you get to know the guidelines as well, because that's very handy. Content that works. So we're not just talking about ads, we're talking about content as well, because you can use your content for your ads. Having a variety will really help keep up your engagement. So you want maybe, do you remember the content buckets we were talking about, the different colour sticky notes? You could have content like behind the scenes, so that could be like a day in the life. Day in the life of a painter, of a writer, something like that. You can show them packing orders. I've done that quite a lot and people really like watching you pack. It's very like, mindless thing. It can be quite relaxing. You can show off your workspace, or you can have customer testimonials. Again, that's what we were talking about before, about that trustworthiness. So it could be someone saying something really nice about you and you're not actually saying it yourself. Educational posts, so that could be like, how do you use your product or your service? Why is it useful for them? Why should they care about your product? That's what you always need to think about. Why should they care? Why should your audience care about these posts? And then jumping on a trend is really useful as well, because it's entertaining. You can relate it back to your product. I talked a lot about this when I was doing the TikTok talk. People who already know the trend, they'll enjoy it because they like the familiarity and they want to see your twist on it. I don't know how many trend videos you've seen, but a lot of them put like a tiny little twist on it. maybe they're wearing the product or something like that, and people get very excited, like, oh, what's that jacket, or whatever it might be. Or you could do showing off the team, so let your target audience get to know your team, say something cool that they did, highlight their achievements, or let them be featured in a trend video, so you can do multiple different buckets together. Doing something that's timely, seasonal, or pop culture reference. So right now you've got the election in the US, you could do a little nod about that. A lot of people do that. Can be a bit of a scary step to take, but it could also be very entertaining and very light-hearted. It could be, we just had Halloween, so a lot of people use Halloween as a way to create their content, maybe using Halloween music or something like that. User-generated content, or UGC as we call it, is one of the most powerful tools that you got. So that's kind of going back to the customer references that we were talking about, testimonials that we were talking about, because user-generated content. So let's say I really like a clothing store that's here in Gosport, so I've made a video about, look at this beautiful cardigan that I've got, and how gorgeous is that? It was only $10.99 from this shop, and it's handmade, and it's $10.99. That's cheap, isn't it? It should be more like 49 pounds. And so I've created that content. They've not asked me to do any of this. But then the store owner could maybe ask, oh, I love that you've done this. Could I maybe share this on my story, or could I share this on my feed? Do you mind? And they'll 9 out of 10 times, 99% of the time, they'll always say yes. They don't mind. Some people that might have bigger followers might ask to be paid for that, but very, very rarely. So that's really handy. And then you can do interactive content. Anyone know what I mean by interactive content? Yeah, so interactive content is a thing like a poll, so you can do that in the story. That's when you have the little, like, how's your day going today? Good, bad, it's okay, need a coffee. Because then you're also including your community and your target audience that want to be involved. They feel like they've made a difference to your business, and they have, and it's creating more engagement on your socials. So what are the takeaways? So we talked about Facebook is great for targeting your audience. It's, I would say, the best platform for it. Mixing your content creates better engagement. You want quality content that gives quality engagement. You want good, and you'll get good data-driven analytics. It's going to help you decide what you need to do, what direction you need to go. And then you can test for success. Facebook is wonderful for testing, a lot better than any of the other platforms. And that is me. Thank you very much.